Happy Homebrew Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I was going to try to shoot a little video last night and I didn't get around to it. Life. Again. And I've got a little bit of time right now, so I'm going to try to get this shot and then started to edit. We'll see if I can finish it up. Sunday, had a brew day, and I did the Vernal Equinox from the Zymergy, let's see, what was that? January, February edition in that magazine. So, heard good things, looks good, sounds like it tastes good, and it's got some rad hops in it, so I'm going for it. It's day 3 of primary right now, and about to bump the temperature up just to kind of clean up the, do a little diacetyl rest, kind of finish up kind of deal. I'm cracking a beer right now from One Hunter and Ales Brewing. My buddy Chris, let's see, I know this has got some age on it. This was a beer he brewed a while back. He got a bunch of hops from his father who lives in Northern California, and these are some 100-year-old hop plants. He did an amber, hoppy amber, so we'll see. I know this thing's got some age on it, so we'll see how she's holding up, but kind of excited to get into it. Some old hops, man. Well, the color is rad. I really wish you could see it. I don't know if I hold it up there. No, you can't see that. And I'm not digging up a flashlight. Sorry. But it is very amber, almost like a red, and but it's showing up really, really dark on the camera, so apologize for that. Anyway, some particulates, some floaties. I poured the whole bottle in, and I think it might have been bottle conditioned. From the looks of it, chances are good. Well, let's see what it smells like. Yep, definitely smells a little aged. Getting kind of that caramel note. Maybe a little bit of oxidation from sitting around. It smells like it was good. Cheers, Chris. You know, it's picking up a little bit of a barley wine character, but that's not terrible. You know, when beers get a little old, especially more hoppy, hop-forward beers that have crystal in them, they'll tend to get sweet, and they have kind of a caramel note to them, almost toffee-like, for lack of a better term, I guess, kind of caramely toffee-ish. That's what I'm getting on this. So, I mean, it's definitely not a bad tasting beer. You can just tell that it's got some age on it. The alcohol's not too much. There might be a few other little flavors in there, like I'm getting a little banana. So I'm not sure if that's just an age that's creating that, or if there's something else. But I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna drink it. Chris, thanks, man. And I'm gonna bounce off of here because I've got some brewing footage I'm gonna put in. See how much I got of that. So, cheers, everybody. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. I think I'm finally recovered from HomebrewCon. So, yeah. I'm doing all right. I got some more brewing coming up. I got some cool things happening. Oh, before I go, tomorrow night, well, this Thursday, I'll just say that, this Thursday, I'm hosting the Homebrew Club meeting here, and we're going to be talking about meads. I'm going to be kind of doing a little bit of a sharing of the knowledge, like what I know about meads. I've done the one, so my plan is to have a little bit on hand to share. Maybe share some homebrewed meads from some fellow brew tubers, and just talk about it, talk about the importance of nutrients and water and those different things that I've learned I'm not claiming to be a mead expert. Absolutely not. You want to talk mead and ask mead questions, you need to go to Canadian Sasquatch or Grant Baker or, you know, even Chester, CF Olnea, or there's a million other guys that are doing it. And, you know, Berserker, Zippy. So, any of those guys, don't ask this guy. If you ask me, I'm just going to ask one of those guys and regurgitate the data. So, cheers, everybody. I'll see you next week. Enjoy the footage. And until then, homebrew up. Morning. Brew day today. Got some coffee. We're going to do the vernal equinox out of the January-February issue of Zymergy. It is a Galaxy and Equinox hopped, kind of a English ale looking thing. It looks kind of like an ESB recipe a little bit. It's got some crystal Maris Otter and some melanoidin. So in addition to just doing that recipe, which I've heard is fantastic from people who have tried Mike Dean's from the Dean's List, his version, and also from Mike Dean himself, who's brewed it a couple times now. In addition to getting after this recipe because I love Galaxy hops and I've been wanting to try Equinox hops, I got a product to try out today. I picked this up at HomebrewCon. This is ACCUmash. These are little water additive packs, and you add them to basically a neutral or base water, RO, DI, deionized or distilled, and you know, water with nothing in it pretty much. And then this will adjust all of your pH, majority of your pH I think. I don't know if it will dial it all in, but it will add all the brewing salts that are required to build water up from nothing, from scratch. So I met Gary, the owner of ACCUmash. These guys are out of Iowa, and got to talking to him about it, and I got a package from him. They make these are tailored to beer styles. So this one is golden to deep amber, 1060 to 1080, and a hoppy finish. So sounds like it's gonna work. I'm gonna put it in the mash today. I'll let you know how it goes. We'll be checking the pH and just seeing how we do for conversion and that, and do some wort tasting, and then in a couple weeks we'll be trying the beer and see how it is. I've got DI water that I picked up. So this is like the base water, nothing else is in it, no minerals, nothing, it's stripped out. So start with that, go from there. See you in a bit. There's the grist. It's 10 3/4 pounds of Maris Otter, half a pound of Crystal 20, half pound of Crystal 40, and a half a pound of melanoidin. So here it is, the ACCUmash water additive. I'm going to go ahead and follow the instructions. Basically it just says add it to mesh water and stir vigorously, so not overly complicated. It does say it's designed to correct the pH, so kind of hard to do one-handed here. Let's go ahead and dough in. So I just calibrated my pH meter. This is some pH buffer solution. We've got 4. Yeah. And then this one's 7. Let's see how that one looks. Well, there it is. Okay. Okay, here's the wort sample. I drew it off and let it sit in the freezer for a little bit. So we'll see. See if I have to add any acid to it. wouldn't need to add acid. So pH is a little bit low. So maybe, yeah, hard to say. Maybe a little bit of dark grain or some darker grains might have brought that more into range. Even though the package does say golden to deep amber, and we're definitely in that color spectrum, we're a little bit off. So I think some variables are maybe the pH of the water has something to do with that. So yeah, and it does, they do have a little caveat on there that says you may need to adjust based on your grist. So let's just take a look at that real quick. Oh, it's completely gone, but may call for some pH adjustment. Got a little wet. Alright, so I took another sample after it had been sitting in there for a little while, and it did come up a bit, so we're closer. I'm going to live with that. Temperature is a little low, but I don't know if that is too far out or not. If any of you guys know, I know it's supposed to be at room temperature, but comment below if you think that's skewing my numbers in my favor. But yeah, 5.1, we'll take it. A little better than that 4.9. So cheers. All right, so I got a guest brewer here today. Blake from the Hop Breakers Brew Club. He's doing a little brew in a bag. What are you making today, dude?
It's Oktoberfest.
Nice. A little late on the schedule, but you're getting it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's smelling good. It's looking good. But it's time to drop some hops in the vernal equinox. There you go. Oh, that smells nice. I'm a little over on the pre-boil gravity. Target was 1051 and I'm at 1055, so we'll see how that pans out at the end. Cheers. Alright, time for a hop drop. A 30-minute drop on the vernal equinox. So it's a drop of ½ ounce of Galaxy and ½ ounce of Equinox hops. So we'll get those in. Bam. Let's check on Blake's beer. Hit the target OG, or pre-boil gravity rather. And then he's just getting ready to boil here. Look at that. Oh yeah. What are we drinking?
Your beer.
That's called Bob's Your Porter. So it's all Liberty hops in that one. And Liberty is supposed to be kind of like a Saaz hops. So like for Pilsners and lagers and that sort of thing. So it's not bad.
Very solid.
Yep. It's about 6%.
Nice.
Yep. Cheers. See you in a few. Alright, final hop drops. We're doing the Whirlpool now. We're going to do a, we dropped it down to about 175-ish. Going to Whirlpool a ½ ounce of Galaxy and a ½ ounce of Equinox. They smell pretty rad. Oh, you missed the drop. Good stuff. Cheers. Yep. Take a look at this cold break. That's pretty impressive. It's like a science experiment. Totally. What did you make? That's cool, man. Well, the brew day is a wrap. Blake took off. We had a few really tasty beers. He brought some beers over. I shared some of my beers. We had some Doom, Founder's Doom, bourbon barrel aged double IPA. It's more like a triple IPA, 12.4%. Hoo-wee! Then he brought over the, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is the High Lie aged on white oak. It's no slouch either at 7.5%. And that's quite an interesting beer. The white oak really adds a different dynamic than you would get out of a bourbon barrel. So we had this, and then we switched over to the High Lie. But he took off. Brew day's a wrap. I actually did 1 point better on gravity and still hit volumes. So I haven't worked up the actual brew house efficiency for the day, but it should be pretty good. I'm thinking 78, 80, something like that. Just pitched the yeast. This is some White Labs 002, basically the equivalent to the 1968 Y yeast that it calls for in the recipe. This is yeast that I got from Let's Brew It. He sent me a bunch of stuff that he wasn't sure about that froze in his keezer after he made a switch over and forgot to pull the yeast out. So he switched it over to be a freezer again, and a bunch of the yeast froze. So we know for a fact that this yeast froze. I grew it back up in, I can't remember what month that was, but I want to say like January or something. I brewed a couple of beers with it, and they turned out great, and this is the third beer off that same yeast. So cheers to Dan. Thanks, brother. Really excited for how this beer is going to turn out. So yeah, that's it. Also excited to see how the ACCUmash, how that performs, and the DI water. So I'll keep you posted. So far, wort tastes great. Everything went really well on the brew day. Hit numbers, volumes, so can't complain. That's all I got. We were going to do a wrap-up video, Blake and I, and he ended up having to take off. So it is what it is. And now it's time for dinner. So cheers, everybody. I'll catch you on the next video. Hope you enjoyed the footage. Cheers.